All right, everybody. Thank you for coming back with us to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. We're here for round 2 of 3. We have Troy Taylor versus Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams has not given us what his deck is. He wants it to be a surprise for everybody. These players are both 1-1 going into this round, or 1-0 going into round 2. We'd like to thank you again for joining us. Players looks like they're just finishing up mulligans and everything else, so we're going to go ahead and let them out.
Point out something cool here. You may have noticed that the playmat on the left side has changed because he has permission. This is a special playmat made just for Patrick for winning our Four Horsemen Players Championship.
The inaugural one.
The inaugural one, the original championship. As you can see, he took his own little stance on how he wanted the map created, and it looks like some horses coming out from the Pink Floyd album.
Yep.
Looks really awesome. This is some of the things you can do here at Four Horsemen. When you become our champion, we really take care of you.
Right, and then last year's winner actually got himself a custom-made hoodie.
That's yep.
So it looks like we have a pretty typical start of the red-white vehicles list here, coming off of Troy Taylor with Needle Spires into Plains into a Smuggler's Copter.
Right, and that's one of the strongest starts you can make other than the turn 1 Thraben Inspector to be able to crew the Copter to block against like the red-green energy deck. So it looks like Patrick may be playing Grixis Control. Really like this deck.
Maybe Grixis Control, maybe 11 colors of his own flavor.
Yep, and that is the Depala to crew the Smuggler's Copter, and that Copter is going to come to face.
For 4.
Yeah, that is going to come in there for 4.
Because of Depala's ability to...
No, I mean, I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm sure we all know about our new Everlord Smuggler's Copter. It is a 3/3 that when it attacks or blocks, you get to draw a card and discard a card, and it flies for crew 1.
Right, so I think the craziest thing about Smuggler's Copter is the fact that it loots when it blocks.
Yeah, it's just... I think Wizards of the Coast really forced this Magic card. They want us to play it. And, well, they got what they asked for. Oh, and there's a Radiant Flame.
So it looks...
On curve, too.
I'm going to say that Pat Williams probably is on Grixis Control. He may throw us for a little bit of something here, but...
So, I think the Radiant Flames is great there. Taking care of Depala is great, because Depala lets the Red-White Vehicles deck essentially just, look through the deck and grab more dwarves, because there is a lot of dwarves in the deck.
Right.
But, I mean, strong... follow up by Gideon from Troy here, being able to make the knight and still swing with the Copter.
And I think Troy's just firmly in the driver's seat here.
Right. And the Grixis deck needs to take its time to set up. But, I mean...
It's got a lot of coming to play tap lanes.
Yeah. Should have said that no one should play this deck, but obviously people want to try it out. But I think the deck's really great. It just...
Right.
It needs to... Like how Patrick's doing, he's hitting a pretty solid curve here. He's having spells to interact early on. Like, if Patrick has a Harness Lightning, I mean, I think he's fine. Or Ruinous, he can't cast Ruinous Path here, but, I mean, Gideon is an issue, especially if it turns sideways next turn.
Right, so he goes and gets the second Black Source, so he'll have access to Ruinous Path next turn. I played a little bit of the Grixis Control deck a little bit after Shoto even said not to. The deck is a very complicated deck to play. Right. If you are not a Control aficionado, I would say... I don't think you should be playing the deck, personally.
The lines are difficult. Oh, there's a veteran motorist from Troy Taylor, and he's waiting to see if it's going to resolve. It does. Oh, no, that was a flagship. That flagship's going to get moved to the top of the library. I think the other card got moved to the bottom.
Correct. And then, because it scries 2 when it comes in.
Right, so what we should see
here... So he's going to crew?
No, I don't know if I agree with that. I think you might just want to, use your... Motorist to crew the Copter, right?
Right, that's exactly what I would do here.
And so he's going to Harness Lightning to meet the Copter, I think, before he loots.
Right, but I think he's just choosing not to loot here.
Right.
Because he still needs that 5th land.
Oh, right, and yeah, he doesn't want to, I think, discard the other card in a second.
Right, exactly, so...
And there's a
veteran motorist.
There's a bombardment to kill the Motorist. All right, Patrick's right back in it.
Right, so now if he has the...
If he has the Ruinous Path... Oh, if he can Ruinous Path and hold up for, Negate or something along those lines, that'd be great.
Right, but it doesn't look like he has that, so he may just have the Negate here.
Flagship's going to go face, but I don't think Troy's going to cast Flagship here. You got to be worried about Void Shatter or something. But here it is.
Is he walking right into the counterspell? I'm not sure.
It resolves.
It resolves.
So he's going to take 7. Let's see if Patrick has a way to deal with the attackers currently. Nope.
So that actually brings
Patrick down to 1.
And here comes a Glimmer of Genius.
Patrick trying to find a way to deal with this board. I don't think he's going to find it.
So he has to deal with both the Gideon and the token here.
Right. He has Wandering Fumarole, and I think
Right, but that only takes care of the Gideon.
Right.
Only partially, though.
Well, the issue is this flagship. Because all Troy has to do is create a knight, crew the flagship, and the flagship turns sideways for the trigger.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Patrick.
I think that Patrick has to find a removal spell for both Gideon and the token.
I think
here.
Just the Gideon, because the token can't crew it by itself.
Right.
Because if he kills the Gideon, that takes it all. But that's a fleet wheel cruiser. That's probably going to be game over right here.
There's also, I believe, a veteran motors in Troy's hand. So, again, thank you all for joining us here at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming on Twitch. You guys are choosing to watch us over watching the Invitational, and we really appreciate that. I mean, you got some of the best commentators in Magic right now commentating for them, so
it means a lot to us, guys. It really does.
It really does.
And there is a full-blown attack from Troy's side. Like, I don't know, like, you know, they said the red, white vehicles deck is powerful, and I agree that it is powerful, and it's games like that.
Right.
Where it just shows its true power level.
And then there's other games where it just kind of falls flat.
Right.
And hence why you don't really see it too much in the major meta at the bigger tournaments.
I'm glad the major meta has not been brought to our store yet. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's about 75% black, green delirium, and blue, white flash. And then 25% of everything else. If you essentially, how the pros are saying, like, if you want to play standard and win, you need to play black, green delirium or blue, white flash. If you want to just play standard, play a different deck is what they're saying.
I think our major players that play those particular decks aren't actually here, like, this weekend. Are they? Did a few of them go to the Invitational?
Nobody is at the Invitational, to my knowledge. I think we only have 2 qualified.
Right.
It's in Atlanta, and they said, according to the SCG stream, that their Invitational is actually one of the smallest they've ever had. And I think Atlanta this year is the reason why. It's a tough location to get to.
Right. The Southeast does have a very strong Magic following, especially with a lot of the newer teams that are starting to show up on the SCG circuit. But still, Atlanta just feels like an odd place for an Invitational, where it could have been somewhere like in New Jersey or Columbus or somewhere out on the West Coast.
Speaking of a new accessible place, the next Pro Tour is in Tennessee. That's like right in the heart of America.
Right. Well, we may just go there, just like if none of us are even qualified.
Oh, I'm planning a trip. Well, I hope to plan to be qualified from the Legacy GP. My goal is to hopefully go 13-2 or maybe spike that tournament. I think I'm playing Legacy well enough to at least make day 2 of that tournament.
Right.
But my goal is to hopefully qualify for Pro Tour Nashville at GP Louisville.
Even if I don't qualify, I think I just still am going to try to make it out there.
If I can try to go, like maybe buy a playmat or buy one of the shirts, like it's just really cool. I want to watch, I want to see the stage and everything and just watch.
I hear they have a lot of side events. I'm not too terribly sure about all the stuff that they offer, but like
I hear they do run a lot of booster draft side events, stuff along those lines. And it's just awesome. Like, you're watching the highest level of Magic being played, and it's just very cool because you may get excited when a well-known pro shows up to your LGS for the first time, or you go to an SCG Open and see your first like big name star playing just at a table like right next to you,
or maybe even play against them.
Right. But this room is 450 people of the best Magic players in the world currently.
Right.
And it's just insane.
So it looks like we got a little bit of talking saying that you guys prefer standard. I personally do not. I'm more of a legacy and vintage person myself.
Yeah, legacy and vintage is always going to have a heart for me. I love those formats. I tolerate modern right now.
I'm kind of in the same boat right now.
If anybody knows me personally, I don't think fair Magic is fun Magic. I play unfair Magic because I usually like to have little as possible opponent interaction. But I am building a more interactive modern deck to try that part of the format. But I think modern's atrocious right now. I probably won't play a standard game until 75% of the meta is not the same thing.
Right.
I think it's kind of funny to say that legacy and vintage are the most diverse formats right now.
And you're not qualified for a Players' Championship, right?
No, I played in one. I managed, because of school this year and last semester, I managed to play in one Four Horsemen Players' Championship tournament. But I did get 21 points from that tournament and almost qualified for top 16, so it was close. But I will be joining Ryan O'Loughlin in the booth on December 10th, and we will be commentating the Players' Championship. I am very excited.
Right, so I still haven't decided on either deck that I'm playing because we're doing a split format this time where it's Modern and Legacy that we get to play. We're actually allowing proxies for
And that's great. I think it should be
our legacy portion.
Even potentially a full proxy tournament. Get the players out here. Don't make them worry about what they need to play. This is their tournament. They qualified for it. And the store's doing a great job of making a big deal about it.
Right. I have no idea what I'm going to play. Like, I've discovered that I can literally build about like 7 to 8 different modern decks, going through the different cards that I own.
It looks like we have a start here. Looks like both players are on a mold of 6. Looks like a Spiral Lift coming out from Patrick. Oh, and there's a turn 1. They're going to be met by a Galphonic Bombardment.
That's the Toolcraft Exemplar, I believe.
That guy is great.
He's the 1/2 that gets bigger, correct?
He gets bigger when you have an artifact to play. So turn 2 Smuggler's Copter is the best play you have. Looks like Troy just drew that.
He just drew this one.
But Patrick Williams has a Thing in the Ice.
Thing in the Ice has a special place in my heart. I really, really want it to be better in Modern. There's a couple different fringe strategies that are playing it. I think the card design is great. I've never been like one for a big tempo type deck like the Delver strategies.
And I think you're right. Thing in the Ice is good enough to be Modern playable. And it's been tried out in different shells, and those shells have succeeded in the right different matches because of what it does. I think just right now, with how unhealthy the Modern meta is, it can't really shine. And these are some good plays from Troy Taylor. We have a turn 2 Smuggler's Copter followed by a turn 3 Selfless Spirit to protect that Smuggler's Copter.
Right. I think that's okay. Troy is now looting, trying to decide exactly what he wants to do.
And it's tough. When you're both on a mold of 6, I mean, looting just gets worse and worse. So you got to sometimes decide whether or not you want to take that loot. But it looks like Patrick's going to let it live for now and just take the 3.
Right.
And we got a... Weaver of Lightning.
Well,
that's going to say hello to Smuggler's Copter.
It also answers the Selfless Spirit pretty well because...
It can kill it.
It can just kill it. It just blocks it straight up. It can just kill it when he casts a spell. And it's just all around pretty great, so...
there's very quickly met by Deck and Stone.
I think Patrick's okay with this because he gets the Clue token.
Oh, absolutely.
Which will allow him to draw a card later in the game.
Oh, but that is great from Troy there because now you're able to still crew the Copter and you're going to battle for 5 this turn.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, I don't see why Patrick doesn't just block. Oh, no, Selfless Spirit flies.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean...
he can't block. So, Patrick may be on the let's find a whole bunch of spells plan here. In the quick, fast, and a hurry. Unfortunately, we don't get
that's not unheard of in this deck, though. Granted, he is on a mold of 6.
Right.
There is no reason why, if Patrick finds a Bombardment, take care of the Selfless Spirit, and then he could harness Lightning. I mean, now we get the thing down to 2 counters. He could flip in 2 to 3 turns. But Patrick looks to be stuck on mana here, and that's what...
It seems to be the same thing with Troy. I think Troy has a Depala in his hand.
He does, and I think he's opting not to cast it right now, because I think there's definitely potentially the threat of a counter spell. Oh, Troy's got more lands. He's got a Needle Spire also in hand and maybe dropping it a turn here.
So it looks like the score is 7-20.
Yep, and there is a Needle Spire from Troy. Bang 2. And there's another
smuggler.
And that's going to be met by a negate.
Right, so that removes a counter here.
All right, that's good. So if Patrick can find a land here and maybe like a Glimmer. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Or maybe even just a Bombardment to kill off the Selfless Spirit.
Right. If he can deal with the threats to where only one Copter is attacking.
Right.
He needs to just survive this next turn, and that's the issue. Because if Troy has another land, this Needle Spires, I think, is also going to start.
There's another Selfless Spirit.
And that's going to protect the
team. There's the Depala.
He's opting to go to Apollo here.
And that's going to get Void Shatter. Correct, which removes another counter. Depala is then exiled because of Void Shatter.
Oh. And he still has to crew the Copper, so he's taking 5 here. So Patrick lives to see another turn. This can be fine, though, if Patrick can flip this thing.
Patrick really only needs to find 2 more spells. If he doesn't find them here, then this game is over.
So what do you think about the potential new removal spell for this Grixis control deck?
The...
-3/-3 and cast a card with 3 or less.
So I think that gives the deck a lot more to stand on, especially like if they're in the Thing in the Ice plan. Because...
Oh, absolutely. I think Thing in the Ice is going to be great with that card.
Right, because then they can cast 2 instants of sorceries basically for free.
You're getting 2 counters up your Thing in the Ice. Not to mention, I guess you're getting -3/-3. I guess in this case, it wipes red-white board. And then you could cast like an Anticipate or like...
So I think it'd be great if we still had Divination in the...
I think they haven't given us Divination back for a reason, but maybe we can hope.
But Divination has never even really... And Patrick's just going to go ahead and scoop it up here as he just didn't draw what he could find.
That happens every now and then. So Troy Taylor's going to take it 2